There we go. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Very good. I love watching your videos on the website. You guys look like you have so much fun all the time.
We try.
I mean, come on, how could you not have fun with a business with wine?
My dad always jokes it's better than selling tube socks, and I couldn't help but agree.
That's for sure.
It's a pretty fun one. It's
Yeah,
a
that's great.
Yeah.
All right, so and I really appreciate you doing this. I'm so excited. This is a very local. Um, it's not local as we do 20,000 copies, we get it out there, but it's a very local based magazine. I always think of it as a TV show, a reality TV show. So everybody we interview and talk to, they're real people and they're talking about real things. There's no, nothing pretend, it's no fake, it's real people. So to have you give us this time to talk is just amazing. And thank you so much.
Happy to do it. Happy to do it. Thank you for
Excellent.
the opportunity.
Yeah. All right. So I sent you a couple of questions and you responded. This is great, really good info. We'll probably just go through it a little bit. Um,
Sure.
I'll be writing the article, so I'll be taking what you said mainly here and just adding to it from some of the things we talked about today.
No problem.
So, so you mentioned, so where did you actually grow up? Where did you go to school?
I grew up in New Jersey, and then when I was 12, moved from Red Bank, New Jersey to Manhattan with my family. So I went to high school in New York City, in Brooklyn,
Oh yeah,
um,
what school?
Poly Prep.
Okay, yeah.
So I went to Poly Prep and then went on to Notre Dame, walked onto the football team there, played there for 4 years, got a degree in political science and business economics,
Wow.
graduated in 2017, and then launched Hampton Water in 2018, February 2018.
Wow, so it was right after. Was it when did you actually start talking? Because I've seen this story, we've talked about it, that you and your dad just kind of you brought it up and he was thinking that's a great idea. And when was that? Was that during college?
So going into my senior year,
Okay.
I was drinking lots of rosé out in the Hamptons, as one does. And the running joke was that we called everything Hampton Water. And rosé was becoming very, very popular, especially out there. It
Mhm.
was really starting to explode, and lots of brands were starting to. There were a handful of brands that had really been cemented already, but brands seemed like they were popping up all the time. And what I sort of noticed was that my friends were drinking rosé; they weren't drinking wine. We were drinking beer and tequila and vodka and rosé, and they were there was this air around the good rosés that I was familiar with because my parents were drinkers of them, that, oh, that's not for the kids. That's not for us. That's for mom. That's for mom and dad. That's for
Oh.
company. Leave that in the fridge. We can drink this other stuff.
Right.
And the bottles that we were scared to drink were $17. It's not like we couldn't. We'll just go buy another one. Like, they sell it at the grocery store down the street. It's not like it was, some super fancy bottle of wine. But
Right.
these French brands, although they had the high quality and the amazing pedigree, they didn't speak to a younger demographic. They weren't marketed in a way that if you were 23 and walking into a wine store, you would feel a desire to pick one of them up. And so I started really doing more research, talking to everybody from restaurant owners to liquor store owners to eventually importers and distributors and then winemakers, and really crafted this concept of what Hampton Water would become. And again, for me, it was about creating something that not only was high quality, but that doesn't have that same look down your nose attitude of a lot of other French wines. And again, our belief was that if you could make something that was good, but that was fun and was social first, and that spoke to a younger demographic, but that wasn't kiddie, that wasn't kitschy, that wasn't, exclusive in any way, that
Hmm.
have something that was for everyone. Because even though I think the assumption is that, well, when you get older, you learn about wine. 83% or 86% of people that buy wine in general buy entirely on the label. So most people don't really know a lot about wine.
It's true.
People are intimidated by wine. So our belief was that if you could make something that was relatable and something that was fun first, that you could have a winner. And we have.
I think that's exactly what you did, for sure. It definitely looks like fun. Even the statement Hampton Water, even the name, I mean, that's fun. Everything about it is fun. The labels, how did you choose what to put on the label? The one I'm looking at now has the dive.
Yep.
So tell me about that.
So the original concept that I had come up with was that I wanted to shrink wrap the bottle. We wanted something that really jumped off the shelf. And so you look at an entire shelf and nobody had my idea. And then came to find out that that was because you can't really shrink wrap a wine, which is fine. But we had this concept of, again, creating a real image, right? We looked at a brand like Nike or Adidas or, these sort of iconic brands. And the image. Before you even know what it is, people know the Nike swoosh. And so we came up with this idea of diving into rosé, diving in head first and turning water into wine. And so I found this, what was originally just an image on Google of a photograph of this female diver that was, perfectly straight. And it was this sort of strong female image. And she was turning, in my mind, she was turning water into wine. And so on the original just draw up of it, we had this concept of the diver. And then we went and met with Tara Jean and we talked to his production team and they're like, you're not going to shrink wrap one of these bottles. It's just not happening. But you can do the paper label. And so we kept that imagery of white into pink and diving head first into liquid. And then we ended up changing it to include blue and to include the sunset. And the idea being, again, that she was diving into Hampton Water.
Nice.
But we kept that diver image. We kept the name. We included that sunset in 2019. And now the running joke has become, it could be a sunset or a sunrise. It matters what time you start drinking.
Good one.
We've certainly enjoyed both sunsets and sunrises with this wine. So again, it's meant to be enjoyed at all occasions and it's meant to be for any time of the day. So there's really no wrong time to start drinking Hampton Water.
That's right. That's for sure. And then you have the glass cork. That's really cool.
That was something that Gerard showed us and really educated us too. Gerard being Gerard Bertrand, our winemaker. Sorry. Getting a phone call. And Gerard was the one that really showed us this concept of the vanilla cork. And a couple of reasons why we fell in love with it. One, the sustainability piece makes the bottle 100% recyclable, right? So natural cork is not a renewable product. We're running out of cork trees everywhere.
Really?
And so this is something that, again, allowed for the bottle to be recyclable. You could literally just reuse it. We work with restaurant partners that peel the labels off and just use them for water bottles, which great, immediate reuse, because those vanilla corks completely seal it. But there are a number of other benefits. One, we think it looks a lot better than a screw top. Looking closure. But two, it keeps it fresher longer. So you don't have to worry about as much oxidation as you would with natural cork, or in fact with a screw top.
That's good to know.
It gets that perfect mixture of oxidation into the bottle. We also are able to, and again, my dad would joke that some people somewhere don't finish a bottle. And so if you were to want to stick it back in your fridge with something still in it, that top will completely seal it. Unlike if you stick the cork halfway through and then you end up with a little puddle. We don't have that problem. So some of our restaurant partners, they do it by the glass. They stick the cork back on. They stick it in the fridge. It's just as fresh the next day. Where sometimes you stick a bottle with a cork halfway in it, the next day it tastes a little funky. And we don't have that. So there are a number of benefits to the glass closure, but sustainability is a big one for me personally.
That's good. I like that. I didn't know that either. Okay, so how did you find Gerard Bertrand?
So we were sort of just looking around. When I brought the concept back to my dad, like I said, we had spoken to a handful of winemakers spoke to a number of people in the wine industry. And through that sort of discovery phase, we were just chatting with people saying, do you think this is a cool idea? We think this is cool. And eventually somebody introduced us to Gerard, and we had a friend in common, and they said, well, I know this amazing guy, and his name's Gerard Bertrand. He's based in Languedoc, France, and I know, you guys love French wines. And we knew his wines from, again, just sort of our market testing of trying lots of different things, but his wines had become very popular in the United States, specifically Côte de Rose. And so we had the opportunity to meet him in New York. He was coming here just for meetings. And so he said, look, if I like the guys as much as I like this idea, then maybe there's something we could figure out. So we sat down for lunch and ended up having basically a 5-hour meeting. And he fell in love with the concept as we, continued to sort of fall in love with him as an individual.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been an amazing teacher for us. We knew less than nothing about the wine business. And so to meet someone not only with this credibility, but that can provide great consistency was something that was hugely important to us. And truthfully, when we first initially had the idea, we just said, well, we'll white label something, we'll figure it out. And then having met with Gerard, he said, look, if you're going to make something that's going to have some staying power and isn't going to just be a flash in the pan, I can sell you as much liquid as you want, but you're going to want to be able to tell this story of a premium brand.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went over and I met with his team and spent quite a bit of time with him after that first summer. And then we launched, we obviously continued to have meetings and conversations and created a partnership. So he is a major minority owner in the business. But he has been our great partner from the very beginning. And we've been very, very blessed that we've had great growing seasons since our launch. But obviously Gerard is just a master. And we've had 4 90-point ratings in a row from Wine Spectator. No other wine in the world, no other rosé in the world can say that. We've been the first rosé in, I think ever, but certainly in the last 40 years to be both on Wine Spectator and Wine Enthusiast top 100 lists in a 5-year span. So top 100 wines in the world, not just rosés. We've won multiple gold medals from drinksbusiness.com, which in Europe is, the highest medal you can win in the wine world. Mm-hmm. So the critical acclaim has been amazing. We've been named the best new product in wine. I'll actually show you this. We won Critics' Choice Award, Wine Spectator, 2021.
That's amazing.
Wine experience. I have to figure out how to hang up.
So it's really the way they choose this has to be the flavor, obviously, and the taste of it. So
the blending is a hugely important piece. We were super duper involved with that.
That's what I was going to ask you.
We spent about 5 days in the vineyard with Gerard, obviously not only just learning about the space, but doing blending sessions every day.
Okay.
So starting with, here's 20 different varietals, and Gerard sort of pointed us in a direction, right? He said, this is kind of what I think it should be. Which one do you like more? And we tried a number of different things kind of across a couple of days. And eventually, we landed on what became Hampton Water. And by the end of the 5th or 6th day, we had a big lunch, and Gerard brought out 2 big magnums with the label on it and said, this
and
is.
you knew, did you know right away that was it? Now, I see you mentioned strawberry, right? Is there like a.
We liked it. We knew that we liked it. And
how does he get all the flavors in there? How does that work?
Well, it's just grapes, right? So some people will think, for example, we'll say there are notes of citrus, there are notes of red fruit, there are notes of cherry and strawberry and melons, and there can be a pepperiness, certainly a salinity. But I've had people ask me if there's pepper in it because they're allergic. And it's like, that's not how wine making, works. It's all based on, it's all grapes. It's just grape juice that is pressed and aged. And so part of our aging process is very unique. We're aged 30 to 60 days in new French oak. Very few rosés will do that. But it truly comes down to different varietals, right? The Cinsault grape adds a sort of spiciness to it. The Grenache grape gives it its great color, gives it its fruitiness. The Cinsault grape will add a little bit of salinity, also adds to that light pink color. The Mourvedre grape is the one that's aged in the new French oak. It's my personal favorite, but to me, that oakiness is what really sets us apart. Very few other rosés, like I said, certainly French rosés have that aging process. So that to me is hugely important because I think it's what makes us so unique.
Mhm.
But you go 100 miles in a different direction, you've got a very different rosé. So a lot of it is very symbolic of that Languedoc terroir, of that great limestone that you get in the ground there, which makes
Mhm.
the vines reach down deeper. So you get a much deeper,
Wow.
it's a much deeper mouthfeel and flavor that you normally don't get. You certainly don't get in the United States. The vines aren't as old. So again, there is a real depth to this wine and to this rosé, and it's because it's the focus of why we're growing these grapes. Many other wines around the world, certainly in the United States, will make other stuff, and they'll just sort of pull off, um, red grapes before they get their chance to get a lot of skin contact, and they'll just make a rosé with whatever's left over. For us, the rosé is the focus. It's what we want to make.
Yeah.
And so we're able to make the highest quality.
Wow. Now, does he have all those grapes that you mentioned are on his own vineyard?
So he owns 17 vineyards around the Languedoc region, and then he's
Wow.
partnered with another 250. So the beauty is that he oversees thousands of hectares of land all across the region. And like I said, he has great partnerships with folks outside of the land that he owns personally, that he's able to make amazing juice from their grapes.
Yeah, you picked a good guy. I mean, he sounds amazing.
The guy. I mean, he is the guy in the region. But it's interesting because a lot of people ask us, why didn't we go to Provence? And for us, although Provence is sort of the name, you're getting just as high quality of grapes. And truthfully, our belief is that because we're not Provence, we work a little harder. We don't have that same sort of, oh, well, you're not from the region. Well, let us show you that we can make great wine too. And so it's something that we're very proud to be able to represent the Languedoc region, because in our minds, it's making some of the best wines in the world, and it's not getting the attention that it deserves. And Gerard is truly leading that charge in making truly some of the best wines made in the world.
Wonderful. All right. So this is your baby. You and your dad, obviously. And I spoke with your mom because of the JBJ Soul Foundation. She's such a sweet woman. She's amazing. So or who else is involved? Like, do you and your dad, do you work together daily on this, or is it really all in your hands?
It's pretty much me. I have a co-founder. His name is Ollie Thomas. He's my
Mhm.
college roommate. So he was
Oh,
my right hand when we first launched, but since our launch in 2018, we've expanded the team quite a bit. So now we've got I almost said 14, but that's not true. We've got 17 now full-time people. Mostly sales focused, but we're growing out the marketing team literally as we speak.
you're based in New York?
I'm based in New York City, yes, but they're based all over. So our president, who basically handles all operations, his name is Dom Alcacer. He came to us from Campari. He was running the whiskey portfolio there, so he's based up in Albany. Michael Mazorski, who is our CEO, is based in Connecticut.
Oh,
He
everywhere.
came to us from Sagamore Spirits, and before that, he was at Endrington, and they own Macallan. So we've got quite a few whiskey guys on the team.
Yeah.
Our head of sales is based in Los Angeles. His name is Jeff Kearney. He comes to us from McBride Sisters. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but
Mm.
they've exploded nationally. So we stole him from there.
Wow.
And he was running Oyster Bay before that.
Okay.
And so we've got a real depth of wine knowledge in the leadership team. And truthfully, I owe it all to their hard work, because without them, we would not be the fastest growing rosé in the world. We've become the number 4 selling rosé in the United States. We're beating the rosé category by double digits. Last year, the rosé category grew about 5%. We grew 38% at the end of the year. And this year, right now, we're on pace to do over 50% growth.
Wow.
So the trajectory has been incredible. And truthfully, the great Garden State of New Jersey is one of our leading markets that are buying into the brand. And I mentioned Avalon when I responded to your text. I recently got a text video of someone that I know, a friend of mine in Avalon, who is, I think, our #1 supporter because he got the logo tattooed on his leg last week.
Oh
So,
my God.
so Avalon is Drew Shantz down in Avalon. I got to give him a shout out.
That's
He's
great.
repping the brand hard, but yeah, the Garden State's getting behind us in a big way. We're very
So
thankful.
who do you think purchases more, the Hamptons or the Jersey Shore?
Well, I think just by volume, the Hamptons got you beat. We're doing a lot of wine in the state of New York, and it is a lot of it is being consumed out on the east end of Long Island. But the Jersey Shore's putting up a good fight.
Do you have any plans to do another type of wine coming out?
It'll all be rosé for sure. I think the rosé world, the rosé category, still has a lot of opportunity ahead of it. I think that there's, where the wine world, I think, is wide and deep.
Mhm.
The rosé category is just starting to get there.
Mhm.
People are just now putting where they have 5 Chardonnays from all over the world. They've got 1 rosé on their list.
Right.
So they're starting to get, well, we can have French and a California and an Italian and a Spanish. And
Mhm.
so the category is getting deeper. And so we believe that there's still a lot of room to grow in the rosé category. And we'll have some news for you in the coming months. But
Okay, good to know. So the one wine that you have now is called Hampton Water. There's no other.
correct.
Okay,
But
but
we have
each.
lots of different sizes. So if you see a small child worth of rosé, you can buy one of those too. So
Really? Oh my God.
we have from a half bottle, which is about this big, single serve, to a 6 liter, which is about
Wow.
the
Oh,
size
I
of
haven't seen those. Where do you get them? Can you send me some pictures of that? That would be
you can
great.
find them around. And if any of our readers want one in the great state of New Jersey, all you got to do is ask your local wine retailer. They can order you one.
Excellent. That's good to know. Now every year does it taste different?
A little bit, a little bit. The rosé, because it is really meant to be enjoyed within about 18 months.
Okay.
There's much of an aging process, unlike,
Red
bought
wine.
a great red wine from Napa. You want to leave it in your cellar for 30 years. You wouldn't want to do that with rosé.
Okay.
So yes, there are variations every year. I would say a lot of that has to do with weather, right?
Oh yeah.
As you know, Europe is going through quite a bit of a heat wave in the last few years. And it's really hurting a lot of wine production. So Champagne is having a really hard time. The Rhone Valley is having a really hard time. Burgundy is having a really hard time. They're just not getting enough rain. But the good thing is that the south of France is used to this kind of heat. So it's been great for us. We've had some amazing growing years in the last few years.
That's
So
good.
we're excited. We're excited to see what continues to come out. Like I said, in the last in Wine Spectator's most recent rating, we were the highest rated of basically any brand that you would know. We beat Whispering Angel, Minuti, Miraval, even Domainat. We were rated higher than all of them. So the reaction to it continues to be spectacular. And truthfully, at the end of the day, it's a challenge. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
But thankfully, Gerard and the partners that he works with, it remains a really special bottle.
It's like magical that you can do that each time with the world and the weather and like you said, all that just crazy
Yeah.
that it can
I
always
don't pretend to know how he does it.
just leave it up to him. All
He's got
right.
it. We don't worry.
Well, I think this is great. And you gave me a list of, like you said, places that we can find it.
Yep.
And then I have all the awards and what is the goal? We have your vision that there is more to come. So the only other thing which would be helpful, obviously for the magazine, is some pictures. If you can connect me with somebody on your marketing that we could just go back and forth with pictures.
You this right.
Yeah, because that's the only thing that I think we'll need. And then That's it. And then if you want to send anything else to add to it, to, let me know things that are coming up, any plans you have, that I could put in there, say anything, just let me know. I'll be writing this and
Up
it'll
the
be
top,
finalized.
Um, go to Avalon, go to the Princeton, have a
Yeah.
drink. Go to the Whitebriar, have a drink.
Okay, great. Well,
I
we'll
will
tell everybody.
try to just find the right folder. Co-founders. Well, I'll send you this whole thing.
Yeah, send me anything you have with the pictures would be great, because we really have the magazine it's great. The pictures are great, the quality, the papers. Um,
I'm sending you this. I'll email it over to you.
this is our cover for the most recent one, so it's very Jersey Shore looking. I'll
Beautiful.
mail you one. Can I mail you? So let's email. I'll get your office. I'll send you some copies.
Sure.
I know I brought a bunch over to JBJ Soul Kitchen, so they have a stash, but I'd like to send it to you also.
Love it.
Jesse, thank you so much for your time. I know how busy you are, and this was really wonderful that I was able to do this with you.
No problem. I appreciate the opportunity. And I'm sending you a Dropbox of photos and all that stuff. And I also sent you my address.
Perfect. All right. Thank you,
Thank
Jesse.
you. Talk
Bye.
soon.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.